Today is July 12th, 2020, and today we're going to take a look at some updates on my Neo collection. So we're kind of in the height of summer season right now, and because of the high temperatures, many of my Neos are starting to bloom right now. This is one of them. The name of it, which I cannot pronounce, so I'm just going to leave it on the screen for you if you're interested. But this year, it looks like we have 2 spikes that are loaded with buds. Starting to open now on one of them, but we'll probably be seeing them in the next few days or so. And of course, with all Neos, their fragrance is quite amazing, but it only happens during the evening. So right now we're kind of early in the morning, so there's no fragrance to speak about. I'm not sure if I've ever introduced this particular variety on any of my videos, but if I did, I apologize. But I just want to make sure it's on video. This one is very, very interesting to me. I believe some people have described it as having sword leaves. What's interesting to me the most is that the leaves are very spindly and they curve upward back into the directions of the stem. So yeah, I have nothing like that. I thought that was pretty neat. It's working on a new growth right now, which is very nice. I think this particular variety will look very, very cool with multiple growths. Although I'm not totally in love with this particular variety, I just wanted to feature on here just to show you some of the variation that you can get with flower varieties. This is, I should try to attempt the name of it. Owaomu-mi? Owaomu. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. But this one is a lower light variety. As you can see, I've sort of singed the leaves on it. It's pretty yellow. But I'm keeping it here this year, so hopefully that will correct itself. The flowers are very interesting, even though I don't like it as much, is that the nectaries are absent. So all you have is just these 5 sepals and petals. And it's just kind of interesting. Here is a cross view of this one where you can see there is a total absence of the nectaries or spurs. This particular variety isn't actually anything special. It is special in the sense that it was treated with colchicine, and I purchased this a long time ago from Orchid Classics. And it is a pretty vigorous grower. I'm hesitant to call it 4N because I know that they tend to grow pretty slow. But I just want to feature in this video because I just want to show you guys that how pretty Neos can be with as far as presentation. And it did this on its own. As you can see, the leaves are nicely arched and they are like stacking against each other in a pretty similar plane, so you get these like cascading effect that are overlapping, which is pretty pleasant to me. And the roots seems to pretty well tamed. There's not really weird aerial roots that kind of deter from the overall look. But yeah, I just want to show you guys that. We have a pretty interesting lot that I want to feature. These are all related to each other, or variation of each other. The one in the middle is Ryo Kohu, and it's the oldest one in my collection out of the 3. It has quite a bit of growth on there. It's a pretty mature plant at this point, and I like how it's like, it looks like a stacking of cards or something against each other as far as how the leaves look. The one that's on the left is a variegated form of Ryokohu. It's Ryokusaiho. It's the most recent one that I've purchased. As you can see there, we have quite a bit of variegation on the leaves. There is a new growth on there that hasn't shown a lot of variegation yet, but I'm hoping that it will maintain the same type of variegation that the mother plant has. And the one on the right, that is a blue whale. It is a mutation that is just happened to be much, much bigger than the others. And this particular one has a streak in it. It looks like a lot like Sumi. I think it's a pretty peculiar habit is that most of my Neos, when they develop new growths, it generally happens predominantly on one side, as in the case of this Ryokohu. As you can see here, most of the growths, or actually all of them, occurs on this side, But when I move over here, there's hardly any. It's a curious habit. Flowers that you see here are on my Fukidan, which is, I believe, the king, as they translate it out to be. It's one of the early ones that have popped out. So the leaves are pretty nice. And sitting on the very top tier of these racks, this is Ogong. It's a very peculiar growth habit. It's very tall, and leaves are pretty short and variable. As you can see, it's spiking right now. The flower spikes are pretty standard. It does tend to produce quite a bit of side shoots or growths there. It's very vigorous otherwise. Today is July 19th, 2020, and a couple of neos have been opened up. This is one of them, and I just want to feature this particular one, because the blooms on it is quite nice, and I like how all of them are kind of clustered together like this. So it looks really pretty. Some of the neos that were opened up in the past few weeks have actually been pollinated out here outside, and this is one of them. This is Fukidan, and I had not intended on it, but I guess there's some moths or something from night that had pollinated it. Today is August 4th, 2020, and I'm up here on the deck looking at some blooms on the Dong E variety. This particular one has the Tora variegation, or the tiger variegation. It's a very vigorous plant. You can see here there's multiple spikes on it, and it has very lovely arching leaves, very pretty. Some of the ones that I keep up here are kind of like on the larger side, so I keep them in the just generic orchid pots. Because I keep these neos on top of the deck, they are subjected to quite a bit of direct sunlight, especially towards the afternoon. So the yellow variegation that you see here, or Tora, is not because of the characteristic of the variety. This is a Kirin-maru, by the way. It's actually due to high intensity of sunlight. It's the same story on this Yamaha, although I'm not 100% sure on that. It could be that the plant is recycling some of its resources. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking that it could be recycling because it's occurring mostly towards the lower leaves. Here are the rest of the bigger varieties. This particular variety is called hokage, and traditionally people grow this under low light setting, so it can bring out the tiger variegation. But that's not really happening now on my particular plant because I keep it here on top of the deck. So as you can see how it's pretty washed out. There's pretty much zero variegation on it due to that fact, but it is growing very well. I have this one particular neo variety. It's labeled as yellow. So you see there. As you can see, it's quite mature. I've never seen it in bloom before. And when I bought this, I was thinking it might be a Kibana type, but like I said, I've never seen it bloom before, and it's growing actually pretty nice. Very vigorous roots, as you can see there, and it's actually, when I pulled this up, it's actually attached to the deck itself. So it just goes to show you how vigorous this particular neo is. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating me because I've never seen it bloom, and I had this for a few years now. And when I had it, it's just a single fan with like maybe 5 leaves. But as you can see now, it's like multiple growths. Not yet a single spike though, which is sort of frustrating.
kind of hanging up on the deck now, and this is how I've decided to grow all my neos this year on these racks. There's 2 of them, and I've decided that it seems like last year when I was growing it directly under the deck, it might not get enough sunlight, so on the edge here they do get a little bit of direct sunlight in the afternoon. So I'm hoping that this setup is slightly better. I don't know if you can barely see that, but this is the other hangers that I've had on the other side. This are the ones that generally require a little bit less amount of light. This one hardly gets any direct sunlight, so I'm hoping these varieties will do better over this side.
Alright, I think that's pretty much it that I want to say on this update. Thank you all for tuning in again. As always, see you next time.